TED Talks are videos that present a great idea in 18 minutes or less. They are filmed at flagship TED conferences, independent TEDx events, and other special TED programs. Their goal is to share ideas worth spreading in fields like science, technology, business, culture, art, and design around the world. The reason I decided upon this topic is because after discovering the existence of TED Talks, I immediately grew fond of them because of their extremely engaging nature. I love the way the person speaking about X subject was able to get my attention even while presenting subjects not of relative interest to myself. For example, one of the first TED Talks I can remember watching was Simon Sinek's Start with the Why. In his TED Talk, he explained a simple but powerful model for inspirational leadership, all starting with a golden circle and the question why. Now, how boring would that sound to you at age of 11? Yet, it still captured my attention. In discussing my topic of TED Talks, I will explain how TED Talks engage their audience through the speaker and presentation, the significance of TED Talks on digital culture, and their implications for education. How do TED Talks manage to engage their audience on the topic at hand, while explaining its relevance in 18 minutes or less? In essence, the effectiveness of TED Talks comes from the ability to engage the crowd, and they achieve this in a very simplistic but effective manner. They utilize the passion of the speakers. The speakers are usually enthusiastic and passionate about the topic at hand, offering their own stance and point of view in a story-like manner more than in an argumentative one, allowing for the people to make their own decisions on what is going on, making the TED Talk that much more appealing and that much more engaging. Basic storytelling bridges the gap between what is, what people know, what humans understand, and what could be, what is unknown, and what we don't understand. It starts off with an anchor, finding a common ground with the audience. It leads to bridging the known with the unknown through compelling behavior, and finally, forming a connection by finding an agreed-upon solution that will propel us forward. Another reason TED Talks are so engaging is because of how prepared and knowledgeable the speakers are on the subject. The speakers plan for months in an effort to become comfortable, informative, and engaging when speaking about a subject they are passionate about. If a speaker is nervous and unprepared, we will most likely not take what they're saying seriously. Another major reason TED Talks are so effective is because visual aids serve as just that, aids. They do not put too much writing on there, if they put any at all, and the visuals are only there to emphasize and clarify what is being discussed. Moving on to my second point, the cultural significance of TED Talks is evident when looking at the way that they convey messages, making people feel comfortable with having their own opinions and ideas, and allowing people to share these beliefs without intruding upon the beliefs of others. Their website describes this as their mission by stating, "We're building a clearinghouse of free knowledge from the world's most inspired thinkers, and a community of curious souls to engage with ideas and each other, both online and at independent TEDx events." TED Talks have contributed to our culture by allowing people to communicate. That is, the basic concept behind TED Talks, sharing of ideas from knowledgeable minds to those who are curious about the world we live in. And what if a viewer is impacted by a TED Talk? It will most likely be passed on through digital media, accessible through YouTube or a sharing of a link on Facebook and Twitter. TED Talks are a means of connecting up digitally. They use the internet to distribute important ideas and meaningful experiences more quickly. As I was examining this point, I came across the question of how TED Talks could be shared despite the plentiful languages present in our society. TED has provided a solution. To reach out to a general audience, TED has implemented a program called TED Translators. TED Translators are volunteers who contribute their time to help break the language barrier by providing TED Talks subtitled in more than 100 languages, allowing ideas to be spread more freely. TED Talks have had an immense impact on education. They have made students curious about aspects of the world they hadn't even considered, forcing people to learn beyond the classroom. Even yet, they have exposed subjects not taught in a typical school environment. For example, I always use the bunny ear method to tying my shoes, making two individual loops and tying them together, which caused my shoelaces to untie frequently. I once saw a TED Talk on how to tie your shoes the correct way. As simple as it sounds, I solved my problem of always having untied shoelaces. Now, this wouldn't have been taught in school, but a simple TED Talk gave me a solution. Another direct impact on education is the usage of these TED Talks in classrooms. Teachers utilize TED Talks related to the topics at hand to engage the students on the subjects being learned in the classroom. TED has allowed an easier transition of TED into the classroom through a program called TED Ed Lessons Worth Sharing. With TED Ed Lessons Worth Sharing, TED provides a way to build a lesson around any TED Talk or YouTube video. Anyone can use this. No teacher accounts are needed. Simply choose a video to customize a lesson around and add your own questions and notes. It has a structure where it includes a let's begin, introducing a topic. The steps following are watch, where the video is watched, think, where multiple choice questions are developed by the lesson planner, dig deeper, where the learning experience is continued and related content is explored, and discuss, where people can virtually participate in a discussion. Although rarely do we see lessons being constructed around a TED Talk, it could be an effective way to engage students in deeper thought on subjects related to the classroom, leading to more open-mindedness and more innovation every day. This is possible because TED doesn't focus on one subject. They cover many topics. TED Talks have played an immense role in the development of our digital culture. By allowing for an innovative way of engaging and motivating people to learn during a time where people have tried to achieve success by doing the minimum work possible. TED Talks have made people hungry for knowledge, hungry for understanding.